So just going to show you how to do this in another fashion, I guess. Let's see. So delete all of those. You can see I got a cluster here of rocks that I made in Modeler. It could make cluster in Object Placer as well, and you might actually want to do that. I just wanted to test this time around having clusters in from Modeler. But usually I guess you would want to make your own cluster using Object Placer. Anyway, so what we're going to do is well, this one I found that if I move this up like 0.3 or so in the Y, actually let's wait. Oh, frame 70? No. Sorry, wrong frame. Yeah, if I move this up slightly, then I can make these guys collide on that mesh. I need to close this though to reload Object Placer so it's updated. Just be aware of that. If things do not work the way you want to, maybe you'll have to close it. So take that cube sphere object and make it collide with the proxy object I just showed you. And we're going to, I have to set these stackings to 2 and yes, but there's no way to put it to 1. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it as for that. And then you can just start to paint, so to speak, those objects. So now you can see that they are slightly above the ground. They should be. I'm not sure if that's enough. Yeah, it's actually correct, because the 0, 0 position of those rocks are in that position, so it's actually correct. I guess that means that I should, well, either I could move the rocks up or in Modeler, or I could place the ground higher. You know what? I think actually it would make more sense to have these rocks to be slightly higher. So now it's more like it. If I scrub the timeline now, you'll see that it works, but probably not quite the way you want it to, unless you want to make a huge pile. So, and the reason for that is because these guys are rigid and not parts. So go like that. Also, you might want to set this to 90 to make it calculate slightly faster. So yeah, there. That's more like it. You can see that some of those rocks are not moving, and I'm not sure why that is. But for some reason, not all of those rocks get to have dynamics, and I am not sure why that is. Let's update this one as well by clicking on the icon down here over again, and you'll see that there are some missing here that should have been added. So I'm not sure why that is, but guess that's a small bug. So we'll simply fix that by saying add from layout selected, and there they are. But we got rigid. No, we want parts for all of them. See some of these guys falling through, but I guess it doesn't matter all that much. We could fix that by upping this FPS, I guess, setting that to 200 or so. You know, let's just try it. Helped somewhat, but probably what will help more is lowering that proxy object down to the position that it should actually be. So go to the position of that object and just set that to 0. Now scrub the timeline and yeah, that's quite good. You can see this one though is kind of falling through. That's quite common with dynamics, either being cloth dynamics or hard effects or whatever, that the object decides to lock. You know what? That object is actually placed on at the ground, so you don't want that. That's why it's behaving in a weird fashion, and that's why we moved the object, proxy object, up in the Y direction. And the reason why these are acting like that is because, well, we didn't change that position of those. So by mistake I said this to be a dynamic object, and I should not have done that. That should just be a regular object. So you can see now it's behaving correctly, and this is just a reference object, so you might just want to get that out of the way, really. If I do this, yeah, works like that. So you might want to put that out of the way. I just wonder if, okay, so I did move it, but what now if I place it here? Okay, it will go to the zero position. Okay, just testing. But anyway, there it is. And of course, the way you make this a collision object is to go here and put it to static body. I guess I should put this button also underneath here if I do this a lot. And yeah, I just wanted to show or test really if I could have a cluster of objects in Modeler instead of using the cluster function in Object Placer. But you might want to use the cluster function in Object Placer instead. I just wanted to see if this would work, and it did. also it might create faster render simulation times, but I'm not quite sure if it will help making it those clusters in modeler instead of layout. Not quite sure. Anything else? Yeah, if you want to export these guys, just select them and go for export export FBX. I'm not sure if that will export only the selected ones, but if you want to freeze those to one object, one pile of rocks, then that's how you do it. So then you'll just say OK, and you'll delete these guys, and then you will import that FBX object. Yeah, there are other ways also, I think, to do it in LightWave, but there is no one-click solution to it, I guess.